Good evening. Nowadays, the festivals going on last 1 week, whether it is Ugadi, New Year's celebrations, or now Sri Ramnavami, Pattabhishekam. So here, in this Kali Yuga, we need to be very much ethical and to do the things very better way. Feel that whatever way of life you are there, as a professional or an employee or an employer or a trader, businessman, an exporter, to be careful today. Especially in the last 4 to 6 months, need to be seen what happened. So everyone thinking a layman who is not educated also talking about the American tariffs. So we know very well now. So it means people are aware of what is happening in and around the world. So what is the impact of my country? What the government is doing? So this is quite important when we try to see the taxes and etc. Even today, the government of India has raised the excise duty 2 rupees. Of course, there is no impact to the end user or the customer, consumer for the petrol, diesel today 2 rupees hike. So every country controls certain monetary policy or the fiscal policy, whatever way. So how to make it? So each country, whether it is India or any other country, including the USA, who makes the more tariffs on other countries, imports to their country. So Vietnam, Cambodia, or Lesotho, or India, China, Mexico, Canada, and all these they made it. So what to be done? So definitely the trade is nothing but the understanding between the trader and the customer, or the trader and trader in the wholesale trade, or manufacturer and exporter, manufacturer and importer. So this is common from local trade to the external trade, international trade. So that is the reason we need to see the next 6 months, another 2 quarters. What is the monetary policy in USA? What is the monetary policy UK, Japan, or France, Germany, China, or Russia, or India? Everywhere, small country to the large house, a developing country to the underdeveloped countries, everyone makes their own. You see, most of the consumer goods are exported to USA from number of countries, from Mexico, Canada, China, and Vietnam. Recently, we have seen the Vietnam is exporting good exports from the certain finished goods where the rare materials are available in Vietnam. Still, they need to negotiate in the trade because we need to sustain in the trade. So that's what India is doing, MSME developing. That's why they allotted so much fund, about 5 lakh crores in the next 4 or 5 years, every year. So the people have to use that one not for our self-employment, but the production, manufacturing and exports. So 3 things are quite important for the GDP growth in any country. That's why if these things are happening, nobody will go to other country and work it. Like USA depends on all consumer goods in other country, though they sell the defense products. So the same way we are importing from China consumer goods. We need to export some better products. So that's why we need to go for the startups or the MSME, utilize the government of India funding, utilize the facilities that is given by the government of India, whatever way that the facilities that is provided for their development, and then specifically these 3 things: employment generation, and produce the better products instead of only the consumer goods. IT and ITES, that is the current trend. Whatever the tariffs that happened, this is going on continuously. That USA is also telling the negotiating. Is that current day we are talking about trade war. That is also they say that stagflation in USA. So each country has to face whatever the trends that is happening. That's why here the more impact on the foreign exchange reserves of any country. That's why there is an impact. See, in November, we saw that in stock market crash. Even today, there is a crash. It will be rectifying or correction. People are telling about in all over the Asia, Europe, or USA. In all these countries, the market has trend has come down. Of course, it's a technical analysis in the stock market because the percentage of the trade that may happen, but that is a good indicator like Sensex in India, Dow Jones, and so on. The better indicators for all those countries' economy. So the impact will be there something on the slow growth, higher inflation, higher employment. That is the people say that there is a fear of stagflation. There is a fear of stagflation. People shift. That's one. Today, about 700 to 1,000 company shares have come down. But fundamentally, if it is good, there is no problem. That's why, in all these cases, whether you go for the only domestic companies where they produce and sell, that is also good. So that's why we need to see how need to make yourself the countries, economy maybe grow at a comprehensive way, the better way, or the higher growth, or the employment provision, or the you talk about the GDP growth at a normal rate, or controlling the inflation, or look into it, the interest rates prevail in the market, and utilizing the loans and advances taken by the traders and individuals, whether the agriculturists, industrialists, traders, or normal people like who are working. So all these, there is an impact utilizing. That is, in banking sector, we talk about deposit credit ratio. So utilizing the deposits may be better way, right? The traditional banking system that also talks about utilizing. Now today the fintech, the small banks and all these private banks competing with the public sector banks in terms of the utilizing their credit facilities provided to the creating the money, creating the loans and advances into the economy, pumping into this one. So definitely the things prevent if the domestic economy is good, whether it is in the stock market, a normal trade, or in the industrial development or manufacturing in the MSME. Specifically, I say the MSME play a lot role in the production, exports, earnings, and then domestic employment. This may happen if you are producing here and selling here and consuming here. It is good in the current trends in the next 2-3 quarters or 6 months or 9 months up to September or October. People say that one. That's why there will be doldrums in the foreign exchange reserves, ups and downs, because the major impact on the top gems and jewelries that may happen with the USA if you are trading, because we also export more gems and jewelry. So as an example I'm quoting here. So that's why when we try to talk about as far as the trade is concerned, we need to see that maybe growing in a proper way in the sense that in a continuous manner, taking into the considerations of the your products produced and exported to other countries. So definitely bilateral trade, multilateral trade, that may impact. Of course, in the last 3 months we are talking about from since the economy is changed because of the new government coming in USA. That I already said in the previous version also, this happened. This slowly that may be changing, that they realize if there is a trade is impacted, if you are putting a hammer on other countries' economy for the more tariffs, you need to come down to see. So another problem, small wars that may is happening, there is an impact on that also, the defense equipment, maybe the spare parts for the certain things. People talk about the certain material required for the phones, mobiles, iPhone example. So in all these, what we try to see when we try to do the business to be developed in all the areas. That's why you take the beverages, you take the real estate, you take the banking sector, you take the insurance. In all these is an impact. Definitely, if there is a manufacturing is good. So definitely the basic sector is good. So definitely your banking sector, insurance sector, because that's the most important, the insurance. Why I'm talking about, you see the shipping business. they're talking about if you are currently in the last 6 months or 1 year, we are seeing 2 years, the shipping routes via Red Sea or Suez Canal, there is an impact of certain local conditions are impacting. So that's why they take the via other route of the western part of the Africa and coming down. The long time that taking about. So the logistics, maybe the transportation cost is very high. So definitely it is a tougher time in that region. In that particular product's export cost may be increased. Your customer will ask you, provide more discount for all these taxes, excise duties, or the tariffs, or the transport to prevent these, they will ask. So definitely you have to come down at a particular rate, the price that is fixed between the trader and other traders or merchant and other merchants, exporters and importers, because there is a foreign exchange, every country, whether an importer will worry or the exporter will enjoy if there is a depreciating or appreciating in other side, vice versa. That's why whenever we try to talk about from the daily routines to the long term, that may be seen because we have seen the trade that happened a number of times for India. We see the right 1989 to till now, the foreign exchange is the better position now. But we see many countries, other than the 4 5 countries or 6 7 10 countries in Africa, they depend on more the products for the wheat and etc. from Ukraine. We have seen what is the impact that happened. So definitely, we got an advantage. India got an advantage of the discounting crude purchase from Russia and re-export. So entry-port trade like that it happened. So we take an advantage, competitive advantage in terms of the cost, in terms of the pricing, while imports and exports. So that's why here we need to concentrate, specifically India. We need to see the growth of MSME is going on. That's why we need to see the state governments and the central government should go together and work for the better economic and GDP growth. We need to see this is the one sector MSME, right? So definitely that's why we have the better. I already said there is we know very well, everyone see this the current developments in this trend. The ministries are declaring, or the finance ministry has given more funding for the MSME. We need to utilize and all these through banks and etc. So finance companies are the your traders, your financiers, all these play a lot role. Definitely, if you have more benefits, you continue the trade. That may happen through your things like trades may be coming up not immediately on cash, maybe bill of intents, bill of lading, export and import procedures may be simplified. At one stroke, if you provide all these, certain states are good, 6 7 states in terms of granting. Still, other people say India takes a lot of time. So, though the government is doing, we need to see this may be simplified at one stroke. This may happen. That's why these are all combinations that come across at one stroke. It will take time, maybe 6 months to 9 months or 1 year to 3 years. So that's why we see these are all the certain changes that may happen. The current government, which is there already last since 2014, they try to see definitely. I'm not telling this only government. Since the beginning, it may happen. But now the decentralization, the things maybe that is happening. That's why one sector that MSME play a lot role. We speak more on that, how is the funding happening and all these in the next series.